2014. The Needle, Keegan Brown. Keegan Brown muss ran gegen die Nummer 10 der Setzliste des Turniers hier von Riesa. Er ist zurzeit die Nummer 14 der Welt, ein exzellenter Pro-Tour-Spieler. Einer, der auf der European Tour vor einigen Jahren auch schon den 9-Darter geworfen hat, 2012 in Sindelfingen. Aus Stoke-on-Trent, Ian Diamond White.
Dabbing his way onto stage, Ian White, one of only 3 men to have beaten Michael van Gerwen on the European Tour this year, opening his campaign here in Riesa against the former world youth champion Keegan Brown. Ian White taking on the man from the Isle of Wight in a nice little piece of organisation from the crew here at PDC Europe. I'm sure they had that one in mind when they did the draw on Thursday evening. Not that anything is pre-arranged, of course, but it's just lovely how it's absolutely worked out to perfection as far as that little nugget is concerned. Keegan Brown coming through his opener yesterday, beating Michael Ploy. And again, Ploy put in a very, very good display too, winning 4 legs in defeats. Rattled in a few 180s as well on the way, but it wasn't enough for the Dutchman. Keegan Brown had to withstand a very, very thorough workout in his opener yesterday. Breezed through qualifying, dropping just 2 legs. But a tall order here against a man who made the quarterfinals in Mannheim a couple of weeks ago. Paul Nicholson in the chair for the first time today.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you, everybody at home, for tuning in. Interesting day ahead with lots of different types of games. And yesterday, Keegan Brown was involved in a rather ill-tempered affair with Michael Ploy. There were things going on that stage, according to Keegan, at the end of that match.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg is Ian to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, I think the accusation was that Ploy wasn't really keeping still. There was a lot of distraction. But Keegan Brown came through all of that.
Sometimes when you come through games like that, it actually fills you with more confidence, because when you're getting distracted and put off your own rhythm, sometimes when you are distracted, you don't do your own thing. But Keegan was able to still get the win. And Keegan said that Michael was talking behind him, and he said not just the odd word, he was uttering sentences behind him, which sometimes can really annoy you. But speaking to the referees as well, they were aware that Michael Ploy was encroaching in the black zone. As you can see on the hockey there, the black zone, not supposed to be in that zone unless you are throwing. So you can see Keegan straight onto the red carpet. But Michael was walking all the way down the black bit last night. He was almost running into Keegan, so a few words were exchanged. But never mind. Different game today against a very respectful Ian White. I expect a very respectful game.
Well, 26 and 42 in his first 2 visits. This is more like it, though, from Keegan Brown. A 180. He's found his range. 68 points with 6 darts, 180 with 3.
Funny old game, darts, isn't it?
Eager to celebrate that one with his entourage. Roz, his other half, is here. Ted Everts alongside his other half, Georgie, excuse me. Watching on as well, good friends those two. 2 of the young guns in the field from the UK qualifiers. There they are. And that...
It's like the young in crowd here in Riesa. It's nice to have a bit of support. Darts can be a very lonely game sometimes, so when you've got people in your corner, it really can help. Keegan just seems to be searching for a bit of consistency in this leg. If he loses this first leg, it's not panic stations, because it is Ian White's throw.
Yeah, treble 20 would have left double 8s, but White will be hopeful of returning. Treble 18 for the bullseye for Keegan Brown.
98.
Not far away.
Not far away. That wire shook a bit. Very good effort from Keegs.
Keegs? Is that an official nickname?
Just an affectionate one. It's a bit like Chizzy.
Known as the Needle.
20.
And the
Ian
Needle
White, 25.
might well make his point here as well. Ian White squandering opportunities. Double eights. Could be a very, very unlikely first leg victory here for Keegan Brown, but he's fluffed his lines there.
Ian White, 20.
Having opened with 26 and 42, he almost broke with 21 darts there. Ian White surely will make no mistake here.
You wouldn't expect him to miss. When he keeps splitting doubles like that.
Oh, well.
15. That last start doesn't count. Keegan, you require.
So he must have
16.
stepped over the mark before he released the dart, I assume that.
That is correct, and it's academic.
Keegan Brown.
Keegan Brown takes care of it.
Second leg is Keegan to throw
You
first.
can kind of understand Ian White's frustration. It was a poor leg by both guys' standards, and Ian just doesn't understand what went wrong. And got to give kudos to the referee for spotting that it was a foul throw.
Yeah. It would have been a bus score of 31 had he not spotted it. Eagle-eyed, though, Kurt Bevins. Credit to him for that one. A lot to monitor for the referee.
100.
Keeping an eye on the crowd as well, and also watching for indiscretions like that that aren't obvious at first sight to the casual observer.
93.
Somewhat ironically, he had double eight, which
Yeah.
is what Keegan required.
So Keegan Brown with the early break, despite opening up with 26 and 42.
I was talking to Keegan yesterday at length, a couple of hours before he played.
96.
And he said to his manager, Jason, I need a new shirt for this weekend. So he managed to get a hold of one. When it came in the mail, it was the wrong colour. He likes a milder pink, a somewhat salmon-type pink
99.
on his shoulders. But this is more shocking pink.
Yeah, pretty shocking. But his darts are okay at the moment. White is down to a finish of 167 on the Brown throw. Brown, though, can
100.
get himself in position here just for Ton. 105 away.
81. Keegan, you require 135.
Keegan's first target here will be the bullseye. 60 now.
Would have left the ball, but it's not to be.
51. Keegan, you require 86.
Well,
Yeah.
already this has the makings of a game that really could just flip and flop, couldn't it? I think we'll see more than 2 breaks of throw here in this one, if White can get off the mark. Bullseye.
Game
Nicely
on
done.
the second leg.
Ian White does break back straight away with an 86 checkout on the ball.
There you go, strength of mind from Ian Diamond White. Look at that second dart. It was only just in the 18, but the bullseye was very, very impressive. And after a first leg, which you'd rather forget, to come back and to be able to do that, you've got to tip your hat to the man.
He's a very personable young man as well as Keegan Brown. I had the pleasure of interviewing him shortly after his World Youth title. It was the following year when he was just about to hand over the reins of, or hand over the trophy almost, to Max Hopp. It was at the Players' Championship finals in Minehead at the end of 2015. And Keegan Brown had just played Michael van Gerwen in that one. And it was a nice interview because it was backed up by an interview with Michael van Gerwen, who just took the time to offer Keegan Brown some words of advice. It was a trophy, a title that Michael van Gerwen didn't win, despite everything he's gone on to achieve in the meantime. And I thought it was a nice touch from van Gerwen, that. And Brown clearly appreciated it. And I think just lately we are seeing 1 or 2 signs of life from Keegan Brown as well. He made the second round in Mannheim a fortnight ago. He beat James Richardson 6-2. Came through qualifying for this fairly nicely as well. 6-1 apiece against Michael Barnard and Robert Thornton. And also making the last 32 of the Players' Championship tournaments last month, the 2 that were played last month. And he made the quarters of one in Barnsley in July as well, where he beat Kim Huybrecht. So just having had a bit of a lull, he seems to have just rediscovered something.
Yeah, he seems to be getting back on that victory ladder, racking up a few more victories. It really does breed confidence. Now Ian White, 74, double 16. 2-1. Very good. His finishing has been very good in the last two legs. Quite contrary to the first leg. He's back on the horse and he's riding it very, very fast.
Brown also spoke very maturely as well about the decision that he had to make in terms of his day job. He works as a lab assistant as well, and he was well aware of the balancing act that he had to perform, and I thought it was just a really good indication of what a good mindset he's got, I think.
177.
Good mindset here from Ian White as well. 177 to start off this fourth leg.
Keegan said to me many times, because
101.
it has been put to him in the past about should he move to the mainland to make it easier for him to travel to darts. Secondly, should he give up his career and take darts on full time? His answers to those two statements: one, why would I move from the Isle of Wight? It's got the best weather in the UK. Good point, Keegan. Secondly, he loves being a lab assistant. He's a scientist and he's a bit of a geek at heart, but he's an intelligent lad.
Yeah, it's his passion as well.
Yeah.
One of his passions.
Why stop doing what you enjoy in life?
Bear Grylls said pretty much the same thing about the Isle of Wight. He too is from the Isle of Wight, and he's still got his base there as well. I mean, he travels the world extensively, but he always goes back to the Isle of Wight. He's got his base there, and he said pretty much the same thing. Why would I want to trade this in for anything?
Yeah, I've read his book. Yeah.
95.
It does help that he's got his own island off the coast of Wales as well.
Well, that helps, yeah, and he's got a few million in the bank as well. Edward Grylls, to give him his
55.
real name. We digress.
We'll just call him Mr. Grills. Another one of those for Keegan. Would have left the ball, and he stares at it.
124. In your quaff.
Ian White, brilliant leg so far. Tops after 12. Tops gone. Last three legs, brilliant from the number 10 seed.
Game on.
Well, as I mentioned at the outset, Ian White is a man, or one of only three men to have beaten Michael van Gerwen on the European Tour stage this year. He did it en route to the semi-finals in Saarbrücken, and he beat van Gerwen 6-1 in the quarter-finals that weekend. Not quite as emphatic as the 6-0 win that Peter Wright enjoyed earlier this year as well. That was his best performance in Europe since his run to the last four in Gibraltar last year. It's a bit hot and cold in Europe, though, isn't he, Ian White? Well, hot and cold, full stop, really. You know, he is capable. He's a really good player. Number 10 seed here, of course. 14th on the Order of Merit, 13th on the Pro Tour Order of Merit, but...
And one of the reasons why he is the 10th seed is because of his consistency on the floor, always making the latter stages. And he will freely admit that his performances in Europe this year have not been what he wants. He desperately wants to get a title here in Germany or the Netherlands or potentially Scandinavia next year. Definitely to do it.
Yeah, and he's gone close on the Pro Tour this year as well. He made the final in Milton Keynes in May. That was his first final of 2017. He made the final a few weeks later in Players' Championship 14. Lost 6-5 to Rob Cross and 6-1 to Gary Anderson, respectively, in those two.
Yeah, that Anderson game was where he had his
147.
very infamous shopping bag.
In the background, Dan Dawson doing the interview. Sure, it's out there.
And yet again, Ian White on a double after 12.
Yeah.
In
I
your
mean,
quaff. 36.
he's been destructive since he lost that first leg.
Yeah, he's in good shape here, Ian White. Keegan Brown got a lot of encouragement from that first leg, but it's been evaporated here.
Ian White. Second leg is Keegan to throw first. Game on.
And this is one-way traffic at the moment, you have to say.
100.
Ian White hovering around the 95 average mark, which is very handy indeed. Keegan will not be best pleased with his performance so far. But like you say, Rob, seasons like what Keegan has done right now, he's
90.
had an okay start to the season, but he's just getting better. And if you're going to get better at a point in the season, this is the point where you get better now, because there are so many things coming up. The last four Players' Championship events of the year, one more European event in Germany next month. Get yourself into a couple more TV events. It can change your entire season. And that's what Keegan wants.
58.
And look at that from Ian White, ignoring that first leg, which he lost with Brown breaking after 22 darts, 15, 14, 13, 15. One of the reasons why Brown hasn't got a look in over the last 4. Ian White getting himself into position very quickly indeed. And so once again, and also once more threatening to break on the Brown throw in this 6th leg.
Can he reply? Of course he can.
Bubbling up nicely this one. Keegan Brown 67 points away from getting another leg on the board.
When Keegan gets going, he's as good a scorer as anybody. He's got the ability to get those darts very, very close together. Single 18 for double 16 to get a leg back.
51.
How good is Ian White's big checkout on this one? Treble 20, the conventional route. A lot of people like 2 treble 17s these days.
Yeah, to leave tops. But, well,
16.
Keegan Brown, this has to go, you feel, and he does get another leg on the board. It's 4-2.
7th leg is Ian.
5 wins out of 6 for Ian White in their previous meetings. Could well be 6 wins out of 7. Their most recent encounter was at the end of November last year in the Players' Championship finals in Minehead. White winning that one 6-5.
100.
And White's out of the blocks, very, very sharpish indeed in this one as well. Brown did win the meeting before that at the end of 2015 at the World Series finals by 6 legs to 4, but Ian White bossing that particular head-to-head. 6-0 win in there as well in the Players' Championship in March of 2015 as well.
140.
Ton 80 and a ton 40. Very nice indeed.
A lot of people ask me, Rob, about how to manage nerves in games. And these two guys are great exponents of one way a lot of players use these days. Their hand never stops. Look at Ian White. Back, a little bit of movement forward, a little crunch of the hand and throw, but nothing ever stops. If you stop, your hand starts to shake a bit more, and it's harder to release at the point where you want to. And Keegan, exactly the same. Nothing ever stops.
133. In you require 140.
140 check out now. Another one of those will be handy.
Ooh.
That means Keegan is coming back for one of the showpiece shots. Bullseye will be the target.
Oh, you just saw that. It almost apologised as it dropped out of the board and onto the floor. Well, 107 away now, and he can't find the treble 19 anyway, and that will really, really hurt.
That
Desperately bad luck there for Keegan Brown. That could well prove the difference. That said, Ian White has to find tops, and he's a long way away with the first 2. And he's underneath the wire with the final as well, so Keegan Brown might get the, perhaps, rub of the green that he deserves in this one, he may feel.
Well, he's not going to need the bullseye. Double 14, splits up for double 7. Double 7, it's in, and all of a sudden, Keegan Brown is back in this match after a bitter piece of fortune. And look at the face of Keegan, as if to say, I don't need the bullseye. As Ian White does a bit of an angel stretch. Sometimes you can get a little bit of tension in your body during the game. Alan Norris is one of those guys who likes to waft his arms around and just get a bit of a stretch. Nothing wrong. Yeah, that was very unfortunate on the bullseye, wasn't it? It was definitely in.
Yeah. And then it almost whimpered as it just dropped to the floor.
It's like the dart was calling in sick on the bullseye. It was.
81.
You just hate it when that happens. It happens to every dart player in the world now and again. You hit a shot and it just doesn't have enough purchase on it and it doesn't stay in the board. The worst ones are when they're doubles to win legs.
60.
Winner of this to face either Kim Huybrechts or Christian Kiss. Huybrechts, a finalist here in Riesa last year, losing to Mensah.
How can we forget that game where Kim Huybrechts missed a bucket load of darts to win the title? Yes, Mensah won it.
100.
But Kim lost it by not taking out any of those. I think it was 7 darts he missed for the title.
74.
Pivotal leg in this match. Can Ian White pressure that 1-3-2? That 1-3-2 that he's on against, he's going to have to go for the bull.
He might well have to. Well, he will do, definitely.
Right, Keegan, top of the bullseye.
How's he look this time? Well, treble 19 to go back to the bull.
60. In Uruguay, 101.
Ian White has got a history of hitting these kinds of shots and breaking hearts. Keegan can't watch.
Double 16.
Game shot on the 8th leg.
And look what that means for Ian White.
9th leg is Ian to throw first.
Tell you what, Rob,
That will hurt as well.
that celebration doesn't come out this time last year. One reason and one reason only. It's because Ian White knows that if he doesn't win this match, he doesn't get any ranking money. He knows how important it is these days for him to keep his seeding as high as it is. And he's battling right now to keep himself in that top 16. He needs ranking points for that. In order to get ranking points, he needs to win this match.
Yep. That is the crux of the matter.
150.
Ian White made the 3rd round here last year. Was one of the casualties of Dragutin Horvat. That astonishing run. He had the quarterfinals there in Riesa just over 12 months ago.
24.
A visit to forget, though, for Ian White there.
Yeah, Ian White was probably happy to see Horvat get beaten yesterday.
I think a lot of people were, actually.
Yeah, dangerous player.
95.
Shame for Keegan Brown there. He just had a chance to kick on and break once more.
And Keegan knows he's got to win the next 3 legs. He's going to take the victory here. You don't really get a lot of emotion out of Ian White, but sometimes, just sometimes, when it means something to him, you get a bit of a reaction. Last time out in Mannheim, we had a bit of emotion from him when he beat Daryl Gurney. What a great match that was.
Yeah.
And when he's playing at the World Championships, I forget the opponent, but he really erupted when he won the match. I think it might have been Kim Huybrechts, funnily enough.
Oh, excellent switching from Ian White there. Gets him down to a flat ton, 2 darts away. That final dart making all the difference there. Keegan Brown will not be taken out 167. And Ian White potentially here 2 darts away from a 14-dart leg and a 6-3 win to set up that meeting with either Kim Huybrechts or Christian Kist in the 3rd round tomorrow. Will he go top stops? No. He's going for double 10 instead.
80. In Uruguay, 103.
He will hope that he's come back to the board. The only person who can stop him is the guy with 1 dart in his hand at tops.
83.
It just died at the end.
In Uruguay, 20.
Yeah, and that clap of the hands could well be the bell tolling, the signal of the end of this one. Ian White now with 3 darts at double 10, and he makes no mistake. And a shake of the hand with Keegan Brown, who at times just threatened to get back into that one. A break of throw in leg 7 after his agonising near miss with the bull on the floor. But White responding in kind with a 101 checkout to break back straight away. And Ian White, I think, just breathing a slight sigh of relief to come through that one. Very, very important, as Paul Nicholson says, for him to keep his points ticking over. As far as the Order of Merit and the Pro Tour Order of Merit is concerned, White through to the 3rd round tomorrow. Just a little reminder that on the way next we have Jelle Klaassen and Brendan Dolan, 3rd match of the day here in Riesa.
Once we double started coming on the 180s, you know, I felt quite good.
The 8th leg was an important one, right? This 5-3.
Yeah, the 101 finish. Yeah, that's why I think I let a bit of steam off. But yeah, it was so important to win that because it'd gone 4-4, you know, so it's anyone's game then.
Who actually had the idea with the dab? Was it your idea or?
It wasn't, it was my stepdaughter. She wanted me to do the dab on stage, And I said, okay, I'll do it. And when I done it, she went, I can't believe you done it. She said, what did you do that for? But it's just stuck now, and it's nice.
Yeah, good to see the Depp tomorrow again. Thank you very much. Ian White. Da ist der Depp. Seine Stieftochter hatte mal aus Spaß gesagt, mach den doch mal auf der Bühne. Und dann hat er ihn gemacht.